talk about building revenue a little bit and how you increase it. It's my understanding you've had a pretty successful run for the last year or year and a half in terms of your revenue and increasing your revenue from year to year. You're shaking your head. Is that a yes?
That's a yes. Yeah, we're doing great. I mean, we made more money in the first first 2 quarters of this year than we made all of last year. So 2013 is looking better. One of the big reasons for that is that when we started this idea in 2006, we believed that companies like YouTube, AOL, Yahoo, MSN, and now a big 3, Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, we believed companies like that would eventually have to turn to professional producers and do this really crazy thing called pay them to produce some of the best content. We didn't think that, you know, YouTube could live on rev share alone. We did not believe it was going to take a full 6 years from the start of the idea of My Damn Channel to the reality that these companies are now buying great original series. But that day has come, and that's a great day for all of the content creators that work with us, and it's a great day for any content creator to realize that now there are new buyers out there to fulfill one of the revenue streams in original video. Of course, the other is advertising. Say it with me. And then the third, and then the third revenue stream, which we're getting very, very excited about, is the increased energy of fans actually funding content they want to see, whether that's at places like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or even more directly to artists themselves, like Louis C.K. did. We're and Amanda Palmer. We're really, really inspired to see what's been happening in that new revenue stream for the last year, and we've actually started to experiment there as well. So we've got major media companies buying original series from us. We've got major sponsors getting behind original programming, and now we're also turning to fans and saying, make something with us.
Now, you're an ad-supported model, right? Or a predominantly ad-supported model?
Well, all 3 of those streams that I just described are 3 powerful drivers, and then also there's licensing and merchandising, and I can go on and on and on. You know, woman and man cannot live by one rev stream alone in the digital world.
No, you have to cobble things together from several sources, don't you?
Yep.
I mean, we've heard that from a number of people, both as on the creator side as well as the business side, that it's not one thing that will do it, but they have to look at 2 and 3 and 4 different things. What companies do you work with on the advertising side and on the sponsorship side?
Gosh, I mean, you know, we started doing it probably not in our first few months, but by the time we were about 6 months old, we started working with major advertisers to create original branded entertainment. So I'll just try and do it top of mind. I'll give you 5 or 6 or 10. Subway, IKEA, Fiat, Southern Comfort, HBO, IFC, Crown Plaza. You know,
IKEA was easy to handle.
Aetna, we're working with Aetna right now, brand new client that we're falling in love with. You know, it gets more interesting by the minute because the chances are that you and I are not going to deeply pay attention to every banner ad surrounding this computer screen right now, and it's also possible that we're not going to deeply pay attention to all 30 seconds or 15 seconds of every video pre-roll ad. So more and more companies are doing what we believed would happen back in '06, finding ways to integrate authentically inside content that doesn't suck. And that's a marriage, and it's a very important marriage that you have to have between network, talent, and advertiser. But when it's done right, you can actually have entertainment that happens to have branding rather than what most people perceive, which is forced product placement, which is lame and terrible.
Now, do you see My Damn Channel then as something of a PR agency or an advertising agency as well as an entertainment company? I mean, the two are married, obviously, but...
Yeah, no, I don't, I wouldn't self-identify as an advertising agency. You know, I think it's fair to say that we're doing some of the work that agencies do, but in most every branded deal where we're working ultimately for the brand, we're also working with the ad agency, so it's a partnership.
Okay, now, when you work with a brand or with a company and with a client, do you have an idea for the show in mind that you're going to match up with them, or do you try to create something around their brand?
You know, we've definitely made a lot of predictions between 2006 and 2013. Luckily, most of them have come true, but not all. So one of the predictions that we made was not accurate. We thought, hey, we're going to create some of the best original content with the biggest talent in entertainment, and brands will sponsor that. So that's turned out to be true some of the time, but not all of the time. Because in many of these cases, a brand would be more interested in creating something new with Jeff and Rob that hasn't been done before, and something that really builds its story and their message hand in hand from minute one, rather than saying, come on and integrate with something that I'm already doing. So, you know, we do it both ways. But it's that second way I described, where you're working on the new thing that's very, very hard to do, but very lucrative if you can do it well.
Now, do you usually have a creator in mind that you'd like to work with on that particular project? Do you have them at the start of the relationship with the client, or when do you bring in the creator?
Well, in this particular example, where you're really building something with a brand from the ground up, it's important to do that crazy, crazy thing first called listen. You know, you gotta, instead of saying, how about this show, and this show, you gotta really listen to what it is the brand is trying to accomplish, and listen well, and then come back with a tight list of both ideas and talent that you think meet those objectives, and people that you know you can work with and deliver something, again, that's great. The assumption that everybody makes in this conversation is that the content is going to suck. That's the assumption. But, you know, in reality, the smartest people involved at every level of that food chain know that the project is going to fail unless they can really connect in a real way with an audience. So we're getting better at this, and brands are getting more interested in it, so we're making more money doing it.
When you look at projects, particularly the entertainment-related ones, I'll take Daddy Knows Best as an example, because I just watched that last night. A very funny show.
Oh, thanks.
What do you look for in shows or in creators and say, well, this is something we want to put up on our channel?
Yeah, well, Daddy Knows Best is a great example of a comedy series that we think works really well, following almost all of the do's and skipping almost all of the don'ts in what can make an online series successful. So I actually, just before I came in here, finished giving notes on the final episode of season 2. We just shot season 2 as part of our partnership with Blip, and it's something that will be premiering in the next couple of months. But Daddy Knows Best came in as a great pitch with talent that we really love. The star of the show is Steve Ranazizi, who also stars on The League on FX. So we love Steve. That's always important to, you know, really make sure you love the lead. And there's a great supporting cast as well. And in that particular show, we saw an idea that you could do countless times. You know, Steve is a man married to a beautiful wife with a young son, doing things that a married man and a new father should possibly not be doing, and then has to lie his way out of it in every episode. So when I, you know, first took a look at the idea of working on this project, and with all the great creators behind it, I saw something that really appealed to me, like a baby Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know, instead of working in a long form television format, here's something that's working short form, but so many things are going wrong inside each episode, and the puzzle is put together and taken apart in really beautiful ways. It's a show that you can love if you watch episode 5. You don't have to have seen episode 4. You
Not
can then go
serialized.
to episode 8. Say it again.
It's not serialized in that way, so you don't.
Yeah, that's right. I think what we've learned over all these years is that we're big believers in series, but it's a little hard to assume that you're going to get everybody to binge watch the entire thing. You certainly want that; it's a goal. But Wayne Days was the same example. David Wayne came in, before we started this company, and I asked him to pitch, and he said, "I want to go out with the greatest, hottest women in the world, and every date goes horribly wrong." And we saw that as a pitch that was so strong we could do it forever. And here we are 6 years later, and we're going to do a season 6. So these are the kind of ideas I think that make your investment go a long way. You don't need me to tell you it's hard to get rich still on the web. But you do all want to make the most money possible, and one of the ways I think you can do that is by going long, having ideas that can last.